And now, hailing from southern Alberta, Canada, weighing in at more than he cares to admit, your pilot, your captain, Mr. Elron Steele.
Well, hello, MotherShippers. We are here for a very special edition of Saturday on the MotherShip. We've got a special guest flying with us today in the co-pilot seat for at least the beginning of the flight. Poker author and chip race newsman Barry Carter is joining us. Hello, Barry. How you doing? I figured it would be. Anybody who gets to sit in the same chair that Ian Simpson has sat in, it's got to be quite the honor. Right? I mean, yeah. Sorry to put that in your brain. I think that's the second time I might have put nasty visuals in your brain. I think there was a Twitter exchange we had over some of the lap and tub photos that might have been something about bad visuals too. Pretty much, yeah. Yeah, I guess. Well, thank you very much for coming and joining us today. Of course, one of the reasons I obviously wanted to invite you on because you're a well-known author in the industry, and I want to talk about some of the books and some of your work that you've done with Dara Kearney and Jared Tendler. But the main thing that I noticed was you like to play my Stratosphere game fairly often. You're pretty regular on that. Yeah, I mean, I agree 100% with that. That's the reason I play on Unibet. I mean, the way I like to explain it to people is that okay, I know that I'm not going to get massive prize pools here. Like I'm never going to have a €100,000 prize pool that I'm playing for on Unibet. Whereas I might on some other sites. But I'm also going to win tournaments. So the prize pool is going to be smaller, but I'm going to win the top prize way more often than I am on a tournament on stars with 10,000 runners, right?
If you're a good professional poker player, can play in these 10,000 runner tournaments, Sunday Million type tournaments, and have a losing year. I am a modest player, and I haven't had a losing year in the last 4 years in tournaments. I think precisely because I play in these lower variance small field tournaments, and it's just a lot easier on the old mindset. If you're playing in say like a big Poker Stars massive field tournament every single night, you're going to start questioning whether you're any good at the game if you go on a long stretch without a cash or a final table, and that doesn't happen anywhere near as much in tournaments at places like Unibet and 888 Poker and iPoker and so on.
Yeah, and even when you do, get into the cash and go deep in one of those big tournaments, like I can remember that this got to be 6 or 8 years ago now. I very close to bubbled the final table of a big 220 on Poker Stars. Okay, so the field was thousands. And I made it to, I believe it was 10th or 11th. I can't remember exactly which one it was, but I was just outside of the final, table. 18 hours later, I had turned my 220 into like $30, and I was like, "Is this really a valid use of my time?" I mean, granted, I'm not winning a bunch more money on Unibet. Like I'm winning less money on Unibet when I win it, but I'm not spending 18 hours of my life doing it,
Yeah,
right?
I mean, thankfully, I think the industry has changed for the better over the last 3 or 4 years in that it really does respect people's time, live and online. Like, for example, I
Oops.
think the
Actually, Barry, hang on. Before I think maybe people are saying that they can't hear us.
oh wow, oh, that was a good chat as well.
Yeah, it was. We were having a very good chat. Looks like it's working on my end. Okay, I'm just okay. So she can hear me, but she can't hear you. Well, that kind of
Oh
bites.
wow,
Okay,
okay.
I'm gonna make a quick change then, and there might be a little bit of echoing when I do this, but
Okay.
it might actually change. So let's put this output to there, and let's put this output to there as well. Okay, Barry, are you there?
I am here.
Okay, so that is right. Well, it's going to be like 3 minutes. Oh, Barry can be heard very faintly. Okay. So I think the issue was, yeah, okay, no, I think the issue was me. Hang on a sec. Let's, okay, let's try this again and let's see if this improves. I've just turned you up.
Okay. Can you hear me now?
We're going to have to wait 3 minutes before anybody on stream knows whether
Course.
you can be heard or not. So.
Well, this could be the interview that time forgot. Then that's
Yeah. This is kind of well, okay. I am positive that regardless, the first part of this interview was recorded on my local hard drive.
right. There we go.
Well, okay, I'm not positive, but I'm like 99% positive based on the levels that I'm seeing on my OBS. So at the very least, I can cut an actual copy of this and post it on YouTube.
Yeah. There we go. Then.
Yeah.
There we go.
So excellent.
But yeah, I as I was saying, I think.
Oh, they can already hear him. Okay, well, I'm going to go back to where it was because I don't want you echoing, and I think you're going to echo a little bit where it was.
Yeah.
So give me a second here to go back to here, and to go back to here. Okay, so let's. I think we're good now. Let's continue our.
But yeah, basically, for anyone who missed it, I'm an old man who likes to go to bed early, so Unibet's awesome.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Yeah. Getting back to the point. So what we were discussing just before. Well, we've had a couple of discussions, but basically, it opened up with us talking about the fields at Unibet and how that actually relates to concepts that Dara and Barry talk about in the PKO book. Or in the
ICM.
in the ICM book. Yes, sorry, ICM book. So I don't know if you wanted to it was a great conversation that we had, but unfortunately, I don't know if you want to go back over it for the audience.
Yeah. But basically, we strongly advocate that if you play in smaller field tournaments, we say like 50 to 300 runners. That is a much more consistent, steady, better way to learn the game and make money at poker. You have shorter downswings. You make final tables more often, so you get more practice in ICM heavy scenarios. And some of these massive field tournaments are softer and they're very profitable, but good professional players can have losing years in them. We think it's much easier if you concentrate on smaller field tournaments. Dara does that, I do that. And I'm not a spectacular player, but I've not had a losing year as a player in the last 4 years doing exactly that.
Yeah, no, and I think that's a great point. And I would echo that. I mean, I started on Unibet in like late 2018, and have played a very conservative bankroll strategy through that time. And as you say, I've never had a losing year. I had a year where I spent like the first 4 or 5 months of it, burning a third of my bankroll,
Mhm.
and ended up finishing the year more than 50% up from where I started. So, you know,
Yeah.
it's one of those things where the field size really does matter. And one of the points, like I was making, was when you're spending 18 hours of your day to win a 15x back on your buy-in.
Yeah. Awful.
Really, are you really spending your time wisely, right?
No, absolutely not. And this was a particular annoyance for me in live poker. I remember we used to have a pretty good casino where I live, and I was really excited when they opened. And I went down for like a midweek tournament, and kind of worked out that it was only like a sort of £15, £30 sort of midweek Tuesday night tournament. And I worked out based on the number of players and the structure that we were going to be there till like 6 in the morning. And I was like, I work. What do these other people do? Like, yeah. So I'm glad to see live poker operators and online operators respecting the times of recreational players. Can only be a good thing for the professionals as well.
Yeah, I 100% agree. Piano cat. Uh-oh. Yeah, you're not actually on the. I don't know if you're hearing this through the microphone or not, Barry, but
Okay.
this is Cat subbing to my channel.
Right. Okay.
Thank you very much, Kat. And Arcane has just followed. Thank you very much, my friend. Enjoy the ride. Yeah. So I mean, again, tying it back to Unibet, that is the reason that I've played here for as long as I have. And I mean, it's not the only place that I play poker, but it is by far my highest ROI and the best use of my poker time to be playing here on Unibet.
It's a pretty soft site as well, and I think the fact that HUDs aren't allowed is a good thing for the player population there. Have you tried that new thing they've got, the Banzai games?
I haven't been playing Banzai much. I'm a very conservative player, so I'm the kind of guy that likes a slow structure with a big chip stack to start, like the old Supernova structures of like 500 big blinds to start with like 10 levels.
I'm in the new Banzai cash game thing that they've got going.
Actually, I haven't. I almost never play cash. I almost never look at the cash.
Nor do I. It's literally because I had one of those missions things to. I just can't not complete the missions when they're looking at me and stuff. But it's you get like you're all given little karate guys as the avatars, and once you win X amount of chips, you go from a white belt to a yellow belt, then from a yellow belt to a green belt, and so on until you get to like a black belt, and then you're a sensei or something like that. It's just a stupid cash game like any other cash game, but for some reason I just found myself sticking around because I was like, oh, I'm a blue belt now. I don't want to give up now and go back to being a white belt. So it's actually surprisingly fun.
Well, and
it's just a cash game.
And yeah, I mean, I think those sorts of leaderboard or league type little extra things that get thrown on, even if they have no monetary value, people really enjoy them, right? I mean, people enjoy like you say, people get bought into the idea of, well, I want to beat the king of the flips, right? I want to
I don't know if do you ever remember the poker site PKR? It was like a I remember like when that first came out. I'm amazed that site isn't still around because I think they were ahead of the time for this sort of thing. And I remember signing up to it because a friend of mine told me it was really soft, and I was like, well, fine, but I'm not getting involved in all these silly avatars. I'm not doing the actions. I'm not doing all the Sims type game things. And then before I knew it, I'd spent like 3 hours trying to design my character before I'd even played a hand of poker. You do get sucked into these things, and I think it's probably the way poker should go because we're competing with like Netflix and stuff like that. We can't expect people to just play the card game as it was played in a saloon 100 years ago. We've got to keep doing these little things to make the game a little bit more interesting.
No, for sure. And I mean, one of the points one of the things about Unibet that I wanted to make a point about is it's not just because I'm profitable on this site that I play here, although that obviously helps a lot, right?
Yeah.
The software is, and this is coming both from the player perspective and also from somebody who's done a fair amount of analyzing of software for various articles that I've written and things. The Unibet software is second to none out there. It is the most stable, and barring a few very minor little glitches that happen once in a while with regard to like table balancing and things like that, it is. There are way fewer technical issues that cause game problems than other sites. There are way fewer. There's way less general downtime than that. The gameplay
True, yeah.
is so smooth, and the amount of resources it takes on your machine compared to something like the Stars client, which just eats the crap out of your resources on your machine. It is. I think, if not the best client, it is definitely in the top 3 of the clients out there right now.
I think it's. I guess it depends what you're looking for, really. I mean, PokerStars and GG Poker are always going to have the demand of, a much bigger portion of the global player pool. So there's always going to be issues with them. On the flip side, that they obviously have some fun features that other sites don't. I would agree that I think at the very least, Unibet is the best software outside of the big two, and is without doubt the most improved software. They weren't that brilliant when they first started as a standalone client. I think it was when Hexapro came in that they clearly showed that they've got like some pretty good user interface and design elements to it, and it's improved a lot since then. And I definitely echo. I can't remember ever a time actually with Unibet that there was any particular downtime, and like all these sites that have big marquee events and then they get DDoS attacked. I can't remember that ever happening on Unibet. And very minor lags and stuff like that.
No, for sure.
Yeah. They shouldn't give me a custom avatar. Really, I'm a big advocate of Unibet.
They absolutely should. They absolutely should. I was kind of surprised that I got them. Yeah, I was kind of surprised that I got one, but I guess it was because we were part of the stream team that we that we got one. But yeah, I was lucky enough to get one. So Kat's. So Kat's been chatting in the chat with us, and yeah, no, I agree, Kat. The whole point of the big fields, or the whole thing about the 18-hour day, is that it's massive fields, and our point is that your value for money is going to be way better on the smaller fields, just because you're spending less time to get through to a reasonable score. So you're very right in that. And yeah, Barry does seem to have been suckered in by the Bonzo promo, or by the Bonsai promo.
Yeah. Well, I completed that mission, so I won't have to do it again for another month. But yeah, no, it was fun.
Yeah, and Giasahan mentioning Unibet listing estimated duration on the tournament lobby is a great feature as well. Yeah, I agree with that.
That's a really good feature. They were the first people to do that as well. A few other operators do that now. And I had quite a vibrant argument with Patrick Leonard on Twitter about this, because he was strongly in the camp of like it really doesn't matter, because if you get deep into a tournament, then you've made a big chunk of money. And I was explaining no. If you're an amateur player and you're deep in a tournament, that big chunk of money is not worth you losing your job because you came into work late and stuff.
Exactly.
I mean, fine if it's a Sunday Million. I don't care about losing my sleep on that particular one. But if it's a €10 tournament with a €300 first prize, and I'm looking at a €24 min cash, I don't want to be up at 2:00 in the morning. So yeah, I do like. It's really nice to know when a tournament is going to end, and I guess it's they've seemed pretty accurate with the estimations as well.
Yeah, most of what I've seen are very accurate.
Yeah, a live tournament director friend of mine actually taught me a little trick. If you're on another site or a live tournament and you're trying to work out when a tournament's going to end, he says wait till the late registration is over, and then look at what level the tournament would be on for all the chips in play to equal 100 big blinds. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Yeah. And then typically that's the hour that a tournament ends. That's a very tried and tested thing. And that's for live poker, but I've tested it since with online poker, and it always works.
Yeah, it makes sense. I mean, that actually makes some sense. I mean, the structure of poker tournaments is the same, whether it's live or online. It's just a matter of the speeds. But I think even the stack sizes and things like that are going to be things that they try to keep regular. I mean, it makes there are certain combinations of stack sizes and blind lengths that work, and there's certain that don't. And operators, both online and live, have learned over time what works and what doesn't.
Well, Winamax have an interesting tournament format. I've never tried it, and apparently it's been going for a while, and I've only just heard of it, which is they don't have the blind levels go up at a set period. They have the blind levels go up when the average stack reaches 30 big blinds. So when X amount of players have bust, then the blind levels go up. And apparently that's lots of fun to play. I could see that working because it's it doesn't have people hanging around needlessly for too long at the same blind level, and it at the same time it will slow down if people are going out too quickly, I guess.
Right. Yeah. Well, Katz just pointed out in chat, I think, going back to our conversation on the on sites getting shut down during big tournaments. Yes, Unibet has had a couple of DDoS attacks recently, but they've never really been during massive marquee events, right? Like it's never crushed the main event of the UOS or anything like that. They've just been one day, all of a sudden things just start to go down for and it's back within a few hours, right? So
yeah. I mean, with the when it's PokerStars or GG, I mean, there's they're clearly targeted for big weekends. So I mean, that's the real downside of hosting like a World Series of Poker Online or a WCOOP, that there are people that are going to try this stuff. So which is why you need a massive security team for this thing.
Yeah, it's definitely a big. I spent 30 years of my life in the IT world doing system administration, and actually working in the server room of a poker room of a poker operator, not something I'd ever want to do in my life. That would be stressful as crap, I think. So it sounds awful. Yes, it sounds utterly awful.
Especially because it's always a Sunday when the attack happened.
Yep.
So people aren't naturally inclined to work on those days. If it was like a Tuesday morning when everybody's in the office, it could probably be cleared up in minutes. But instead, it's some remote worker in another part of the world, and they're like, "Oh, by the way, you've got to fix this thing that's going to cost us $700,000 right now."
Yeah. No. Exactly. It's. I mean, that's usually the lot of anyone who's doing system administration or network work. There's somebody doing something that's costing them a lot of money when it's not happening, and it's your job to make sure it happens. So like my last job was working in as a military for military training site, and when our system was down, there was 1,000 soldiers sitting around twiddling their thumbs out in the middle of a field somewhere. Which is, not something that anybody really likes to have happen, right? So I would not have wanted to. I would not have wanted to do that sort of thing. But I generally think Unibet is among the best, both in terms of that kind of technical back end stability and in terms of the gameplay. We were talking about the no HUDs, and I agree with that being good, an excellent. Feature on Unibet. The name changes, of course, are.
Yeah, it's everyone's tried a different thing when name changes is concerned. It's only really PokerStars that have made you stick with the same name forever. I like the name changes with Unibet because, like, for me personally, I like to keep the same name. I like people to know it's me on the off chance that I win something. I definitely like Lapin and Dara to know it's me the one time that I'm at their table. But at the same, but I can completely understand why, if somebody who was, getting beat up at the tables a little bit, or was on a little bit of a downswing, would rather could just change the name to Bobby 678 tonight, so I didn't have to have the stress of the same people targeting them and stuff like that. I don't think there's a perfect solution to the anonymous name change HUD, all that sort of stuff, but I do like that, even though I never actually use the name change feature.
Yeah, I use it fairly. Like I'm always using a recognizable alias when I'm on stream, and it's usually with my avatar. Although there's my 10 Jilly that I have with one of the other avatars that I use quite a bit as well. But when I'm not streaming, when I'm playing just on my own offline, I'm usually playing with an anonymous avatar. I usually create something that's either just a random key, like I oftentimes just pound the keyboard for like 8 random letters and do that, or come up with some silly.
Well, one of the good things about the name change thing is that you often get some really good satirical names that are only funny for the first like 3 days that they're in. Like, you know, there'll be like Elon something or Andrew Tate in jail or something like that. Or you also get some very, very immature ones. You know, I'll tell you the funniest one actually, because this will be a Unibet audience. They'll like this. There was someone called, and it'll be someone who's watching the stream. Someone called themselves on the stream, "I love my wife," and I found that really, really funny, because I just had this image of some guy that really, really messed up in some way with his wife, and felt that this was the way to win her back in his affections. And then a few months later, I was playing, and someone with the same avatar was then called "I love my cat." So I was just thinking, oh God, that didn't go very well. He got the cat in the divorce. Yeah, so there's some interesting tells you can get from the what people call themselves on Unibet, I guess.
Yeah, no, that's very true. And actually, it's one of the things that we have a lot of fun with on the stream, and especially in games like the Stratosphere. The chat members will be very keen to look for interesting fun names. Moofy usually comes up with something that's a little bit rude and a bit of a spoonerism. There's a lot of people that have been doing what we've been coming up with called Elligrams, which is basically taking the spelling of my name, Lyle Bateman, and rearranging it. I'm actually playing an Elligram today, a new one, Team Baldy. Is my Elligram today that I'm playing, and a lot of other players. Shopper has one that was Amy Tenball that I really loved. It's another anagram of my name.
Yeah, I mean, one of the problems actually is I wish Unibet would do a bit of a reset on the names that have already come before, because you know, it's actually getting quite difficult to get a different name on there, just because, you know, inevitably all the obvious ones have been used. I mean, good luck calling yourself something like if you want to call yourself Poker Ace or something like that, you're going to be out of luck.
Yeah, you're going to be like Poker Ace 764 or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Because that's the only one you have. Now there is, of course, if somebody takes an alias and then removes it from their stable, 6 months later, I'm pretty sure it goes back into the general pool for anybody to.
Oh, does it really?
Yes. After it takes time, so you've got a certain grace period to get that alias back again if you want, but after a certain period of time it goes back. It just gets.
All right, I can finally put in my application for King Dong.
Kevin Thallum, how you doing? Kevin Thallum's just showed up in chat. Cat is, I think poker sites will be very dependent on their connection providers. Yes, absolutely. How they get their signal out to the internet is going to be massive for how they can deal with DDoS and external security attacks, right? Yeah. So it's as much your service provider as it is the actual site that deals with it.
Yeah, I'm so glad I don't know anything about this stuff, and I mean, I was getting you know, palpitations just listening to you working out the sound levels on this thing. Like, I'm not a technical person at all where this is concerned. You should see me using my phone. My wife, she thinks I'm like 70 on my phone. It's so yeah. but I'm out of that.
Alrighty, well, we have Stratosphere action popping up on the screen. I just put that up, so it'll be a few minutes. I know you were saying that you have to go relatively quickly, and
I'm good for a little bit longer.
Okay,
We
cool.
can do another 5-10 minutes, as long as it's not going to distract you with what you're
No,
doing.
no, absolutely. So for the audience members, we're about 10 minutes away from 10 or 15 minutes away from the end of Barry's discussion here. So if you have any specific questions you want to ask while he's here, now's your time to get them in chat.
Yeah, cool.
Coach Ines, how you doing? Welcome aboard. So yeah, it is great to see everybody out there. So what's it like writing a book with Dara? Tell us about the process, because it strikes me that translating Dara into human is not the easiest thing in the world.
Well, he's to be honest, if he really wanted to write a book without my help, I'm sure he could. I'm sure there'd be a success. I like to think perhaps that they wouldn't be quite as much of a success, and they wouldn't be out anywhere near as quickly as they are. It takes a long time, but it's great, really. What tends to happen is we pick a topic that he knows a lot about, and I know very little about. He explains it to me. I then attempt to explain it back to him in the form of written word. He then points out everything that I got wrong about it. We do it again. And when I can finally explain the concepts back to him without him sort of caning me, then we have a book. That really is it. It's we use his ability and my ineptitude as a kind of resource, and they always seem to take about a year. Although we're going to try and speed things up a little bit this year with the next sort of 50 books that we have in mind. But I obviously have a full-time job like at pokerstrategy.com. And he's a professional poker player full time. I'm sure we could probably do like three of them in a year if that was the only thing that we do. But yeah, it really is like a kind of a coach-student relationship. And when I can finally regurgitate what he's been trying to teach me for the year, then we know that we're ready to release the book.
So that sounds interesting. Kat is actually asking, this is probably not something that you can do on stream because we're actually not on. I do have to apologize for Barry not being on video today. I was not thinking at all about trying to get him on video, and I was already screwed up with the way the video was working on my OBS. So, but next time if we get Barry back again and have other guests, I'll think about the video harder before we get going. But no, Kat's asking about GTO Wizard and whether or not. Because she can't make any sense about it. I have the same issue when I've downloaded a couple of solvers, and I thought I'm a pretty smart guy, and I thought I'm a pretty knowledgeable about poker and everything, and then I download these solvers and I open it up and I go, okay, now what am I supposed to do?
I think GTO Wizard is currently the best product on the market and certainly the most user friendly. I completely understand why. It's very difficult. When Dara first showed me PO Solver 3 years ago, I just pretended that I was following him. I had no idea what I was looking at, and there's a learning curve to it. But GTO Wizard is a lot easier to use than PO Solver. You actually need to be quite technically proficient just to install PO Solver. That isn't a joke. It's actually quite difficult.
Yeah.
I guess it's just something that you need to persist with. Really, I would say that the best thing to do is to rather than to just look at the outputs and try and make sense of them. Go into something like GTO Wizard with a question, and just. Like for example, like what should I be check raising on the turn or something like that. Actually go in with a targeted question. I think that's the best way to learn from it. You'll pick up where you need to look, and you will. I think you'll glean answers out that way. But I'm a big advocate of GTO Wizard. I think it's excellent. I think it's by far the best product on the market. And if you don't know how to use GTO Wizard, I should say that Dara and I have a YouTube channel. I have no idea how to what we even call it is where we've done a few videos on GTO Wizard. It's probably a good place to start. But GTO Wizard's own YouTube channel also excellent.
Excellent. Okay, I will do a search on YouTube and see if I can find that for some links to put in my Discord. But that's an excellent answer. And if I'm sort of understanding correctly, the sort of best way to approach GTO Wizard from the beginning would be to take an actual hand that you played and put in the data up until the turn, and then go, right, what do I do when this guy bets a third of a pot on the turn?
To begin with, yeah. I mean, like once you know your way around it, obviously it's best to go look at the action on every single street. But I think I find things like this. It's better to have an active kind of mission, like a game plan, before you go into it, rather than to just sort of hover around on the different screens, wondering what they all do. That's certainly my approach, anyway. Yeah, it's worth persisting with. It's definitely the best one out there.
Well, I hope that answers your question. Kat. So I know. So you've written quite a few books with, like 3 now with Dara, I believe, and you said you guys have got more in the works. So do you want to give us a preview of what the next one is, or is that still?
Yeah, I don't mind being transparent. It'll kind of motivate me to make sure that we do them. We're actually doing. It's going to be a short book on mystery bounty tournaments. We've had a surprising amount of people ask us about this. We did a short webinar on it once before. And because we've done PKOs as a book before, people think we'll understand about them. They're actually strategically very, very different from PKOs. So that could be out possibly in the first quarter of this year, but it will be a shorter book than the ones that we usually put out. After that, we will probably be doing a post-flop ICM book. This is a thing that professional players ask Dara about the most, and it's probably one of the last unventured terrains in poker strategy. Not many people know much about post-flop ICM. So that's potentially the next big full-size book that we're doing, and hopefully both of those will be this year.
Cool. That both sounds quite excellent. I know the basic PKO book was remarkable in the difference I noticed in my game and my PKO results. Like the moment I read the book, like it wasn't even. It was. It was remarkable. The number of bounties I was taking went up by a huge amount.
I had my biggest ever win whilst we were working on the PKO book. It was a good bit of marketing, actually, because I satellited into a big tournament, which was a PKO, and I ended up coming second in it, and it was quite a big tournament. And not quite been able to replicate that since. I kind of thought that was the start of things to come, but it never quite did. But yeah, actually, PKOs are my least favorite. Despite all that, they're my least favorite form of poker. I think just because I think I like the survival element of ICM type tournaments, vanilla tournaments, and satellites. For whatever reason, that seems to be my natural kind of way of being. PKOs are very, very fun, and I've done well in them, but surprisingly not that big a fan of them.
Yeah, interestingly for me, I kind of go to both ends. I am a pretty big, although when I started playing on Unibet, I was not a fan of bounty tournaments at all. And I've most exclusively played free rolls and, single, double, rebuy kind of things, and avoided the rebuy add-on tournaments and that sort of thing. Now I'm still, I don't completely avoid the rebuy add-ons, but you have to treat them in a very special way compared to other tournaments, buy-in wise. But yeah, my favorites are now the freeze-outs on the one hand and bounties on the other hand, because again, one of the things your book taught me as well was that you play a bounty like a freeze-out, right? You don't rebuy in it. You don't.
You definitely don't rebuy. Yeah. You don't late register either.
No.
Every time you late register, you're paying a bit of extra tax for all the bounties that you could have won.
Yeah. Yeah, to be fair, I'm playing the battle royale as we chat, and I have to confess that I actually registered about 10 minutes after it started because I was making breakfast before
Yeah,
as we started.
that's not too bad. That's not too
No,
bad. I mean,
I
it's
think I came in at the beginning of the second level, if I'm not mistaken.
yeah, that's not too bad. And you know, you will cover half the players at your table at least with that as well.
Yeah.
But it's just late regging, sort of towards the end of late registration period. It's just burning money really in a PKO.
Kat says she's been watching your channel. Still struggling though. But I'm just gonna ask her if she has a link to the to the YouTube that she can put in the channel.
Yeah, I actually should have that.
Oh, no worries.
I've never actually had to say it out loud. So. There we go. Got it.
Oh yeah. So there's a couple of other interesting points that we've got going on here. Barry's playing in the Stratosphere today, and when you knock him out, you will get a copy of the ICM book that he's written with.
Any of the books, if you can prove it was you that knocked me out of the tournament, then I'll give you any of the most recent 4. Just pick the one you want, and I'll send you a digital copy of it.
Perfect, sounds good. And he's also said that we can give away a couple of other copies while on stream as well.
Yep.
So probably won't get that done before you head off to your dinner date. But yeah, I'll let you know how that goes. I think I'm going to try to run a Twitter contest for one of them, and we'll probably do some.
Yeah, do whatever you want, and I can personally credit the winners.
Cool. Sounds.
If you send them my way, that's the easiest way to do things.
Sounds wonderful. Appreciate that. I just somehow did not. I just copied my own. How did I copy my own? There we go. Your YouTube channel's in the chat now. Finally, took me a couple of seconds to actually get the right copy paste in there. Right. Well, thank you very much for coming and joining us.
Oh, my pleasure. My pleasure. Anytime.
Excellent. Well, we definitely may get you back again. I'm off. I'm going to be off the stream for a couple of weeks while I'm doing a live tournament next week in Calgary. But definitely would like to get you back again at some point and chat a bit more.
Absolutely. Anytime.
But yeah, so Barry Carter, thank you very much for joining us, and enjoy your dinner.
Thank you very much. And I'm known as Barry Made Tea on Unibet for people
yes.
looking to bet. Take care. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Barry. Bye-bye. All right. Well, that was fun. That was a good time to have Barry here. So yeah, well, that was absolutely wonderful. So we've got Battle Royale and Stratosphere rolling with main event coming up here shortly. I really want to thank Barry for joining us today. That was a lot of fun, and was that a first for me? Have I had a guest on the MotherShip? Well, I mean, we had Dara and Ian and David on a while back for that training session. But yeah, it's the first time I've had sort of an interview. Yes. Well, no, I was asking you if you could put it in, if you could copy it to chat for us, because I was going to have to search YouTube and Barry didn't have it right at his fingertips. But we figured that since you had been watching it, you might actually have the link that you could throw in the chat. So yeah, that was what we were doing. Right. I am gonna have some. I'm gonna need to do some technical magic and wizardry over the break. Or maybe I'll try it now. It shouldn't be a huge. Cat has digital copies of all the books. Well, there you go. Right, so I need to go over here, and I need to change. Oh, actually, no. First of all, this needs to go to the main output. And this needs to go to my headset. That's already going to my headset. That needs to go to my headset. Sorry, I'm gonna be a bit distracted here for a second while I try to work out these. Okay, I think that is correct. So I think if I start my jukebox now, Berry Made Tea is the alias you're trying to knock out. You'll have to negotiate that with Barry. You'll have to negotiate that with Barry, Cat. But it could probably be arranged. It could probably be arranged. So yeah, I was not really talking about the poker, obviously, while we were chatting with Barry, because we were chatting with Barry, not talking about the poker. But yeah, we're in the battle royale. I was in the Turbo Classic, but we went busto in that baby. We're still live here in the battle royale, however, with well, we're still early, but we can potentially get there. We need to take some booties. No booties yet, but we're doing okay. We're alive, and of course we've got the Stratosphere running as well, where as it said, if you can prove that you knocked Barry out, so when you knock out Barry Made Tea, make sure you save a screenshot of the hand replay. You will get a electronic copy of the newest book, ICM Poker Strategy. Yeah, Seaweed. I don't see him in there yet, but I'm sure he'll be regged before the end of late registration. I know he's grabbing a quick dinner right after the getting off the stream. Don't worry, I'm sure we'll see him in there. I know you hate Twitter, Kat, but Twitter DM is where I was. That's where I convinced him to come onto the stream. Right, first break coming up. MotherShip Main Event coming up after that. Right, it is break time, everybody, so I'm going to head off to a break. I'll see you guys back in just a few short minutes. We are back. We're going to have the main event popping up here very shortly, everybody. Password is in chat. It is space travel. Welcome aboard to X Azuxus. Zaxusis. Welcome aboard. Anyways, I'm probably butchering that name, but welcome aboard. Welcome aboard. Nice to have a new friendly face from Australia. I don't know if we can play $100 challenge as well. Welcome aboard. Good to see you here once again. I don't know if it's playable from Australia or not. Not spent a lot of time looking into the Australian market, frankly. My memory is though that they are very restrictive about the ability to play online poker. Currently got the Battle Royale where I'm short stacked but still alive. And the Stratosphere where we're kind of middle pack. 43 entries at the moment. One rebuy, which means we are over the €200 guarantee now. We still have a ways to go. 39 minutes left in late registration, though, so should be able to get there. I think we need another 13 entries to make the 275 guarantee, if I'm doing the math correctly on that. So we'll see if we get there. I've just had the main event pop up on my screen, so let's head over there and get that going for you guys. Good luck, everybody, in the main event. Is it going to be a back-to-back-to-back cat week once again? She is the not just the reigning champion of the main event. She is the double reigning champion of the main event. She's won the last 2 weeks of the game. So, well played, Cat. And good luck making it a three-peat. And you too, Lucky Ugly. Good luck in the main event and the strat. He's just chatting with Kat over the break a little bit about the some issues with the interview. I'll try to do a little bit better next time. Yeah, I'll try to get Barry in the actual Twitch chat next time so that he can pay attention to questions there as well. Because it can be a little difficult to get relay it through me. So if he's paying attention as well, if he sees things, he can jump in as well. So that would be a little bit easier. And I should have done a little bit more work with chat. I still don't know what was wrong with the voice at the beginning. Because you guys said you could hear it before it had caught up in time for me to change anything. So I don't actually know what was going on with the. Well, this is an interesting way to start the main, eh? So yeah, I still have no idea what was going on with the sound at the beginning. But You can see I still don't have the backdrop set up on the stream cockpit yet. I do have the corkboard that I wanted. Wasn't until I got home that I realized it does not come with any of the mounting equipment that I need to mount the damn thing on my wall. So I'll need to sort that out at some point. And turns out I don't have a disk problem with my other old computer. I assumed it was a disk. Bad thing to make assumptions, I guess. Well, I should know that. I spent 30 years in IT. It's always bad to make assumptions. But yeah, I moved the old system back upstairs here, and in the process, when I did that, I cracked open the box and unplugged the disk that I assumed was causing all the problems. Powered the machine back up again. Still making a fucking god awful noise. So I'm assuming it's a fan now, I guess. I'm gonna it's pretty grimy in there, so I'm gonna rip the whole thing apart and do a full on cleaning of it and put it back together again before I try again. And maybe that'll sort it out. Yo broker, welcome aboard. Grit GB, welcome aboard. I'm Merry Happy New Year to you as well. Good to see you. You probably should reg it, Kat. You know, you probably should at least try to keep your win streak going, right? I will once the stream is over, I'll cut the first part, or I'll cut the segment of the stream where we've had Barry on, and post it on YouTube. So we should still be able to get access to Barry and our conversation. So if you missed the early discussion, Barry had to run off for dinner. He'll be in the Stratosphere later. And once he's in, you can win a copy of the latest Poker Tome by Carter and O'Kearney, simply by busting Barry in today's game. Barry made tea. I don't know if he's registered yet or not. I think he's going to late register, but Yeah, I mean, the reason I thought it might be consistent is because while it wasn't my system disk, I did have a hard link to that disk for my documents folders and uh, app data folders that the system does use on a regular basis for its operations. So I thought it was at least possible that the BSOD was a result of that. But yeah, actually, fan being a problem and overheating is, yeah, maybe a more likely culprit for the BSOD, right? Yeah, and I agree. The only thing that makes me wonder is that, like, I've used the like if you go into the properties section of your documents in File Explorer on and the other home folders like pictures and things like that, you can change the location of those folders. And I changed those locations in the properties to be on the D drive, this secondary drive. So it was kind of a system disk, but it wasn't a full system disk, if that makes any sense. It was partially a system disk. We're up to 54 entries total in the Stratosphere now. So I think that puts us 3 away from the guarantee. I think 3 away from the guarantee, if my math is correct. Yeah, totally overheating is, and that overheating could either be a result of a fan problem and or the fact that it's grimy as fuck in there. So probably needs a thorough cleaning is the answer. Don Variance, welcome aboard. GL, GL, GL. Yeah, I'm not sure how much difference it would make either, frankly, Kat. But yeah, I should actually pick up. There are some. My laptop actually had that software built into it, but I'm sure there's a generic. I'm sure there's a generic running, but I also need to figure out what's causing the god awful noise, right? I need to shut down that fucking god awful noise, whatever it is that's causing it. So somehow, so I think my first order of business, no matter what, whether it's overheating or not, or whatever caused the BSOD, my first order of business is to shut down, is to rip it apart and give it as thorough a cleaning as I can possibly manage. Right? I think that's got to be the first. I think that's got to be the first thing I do. Yes, it is. That is currently where we're streaming from. Is the new PC Yo-Yo. We are happily whipping along. Turns out I may not have actually needed to buy it from the perspective that I thought I thought my other system was failing because of a bad disk. I'm pretty sure that's not the case anymore. Pretty sure it was making all that god awful noise because of being dirty and that causing the fan to make noises. I'm thinking. So yeah, that's going to be my next order of business, getting it cleaned up. Because yeah, it's pretty grungy in there, I have to say. Pretty fucking disgusting in there. And yes, thank you. If you have software for that, let me know, Kat, and I will have a quick. Because it will definitely be useful afterwards. Any luck? We're here for a double. Triple maybe? Quadruple? Happy with that. Happy with that. Pretty sure we've got the yes, indeedy, 280 at 25 in prizes now, everybody. We are breaking guarantees once again here in the Stratosphere. The new and improved 275 euro Stratosphere. We just busted that guarantee. 280 now. Still 20 minutes left to get in, so we could see it over 300 today. And yeah, we're just putting our money in here again with the hard castles, right? Just going to be putting our money in again with the hard castles. Good point, Kat. Actually, yeah, before and after would be useful. Very good idea. Very good idea. I do have all my screens set up now without the media PC fully functional, or rather with its. I mean, I guess it's fully functional. It just makes a god awful noise and might be overheating. Probably is overheating. So until that's sorted out, the screens aren't fully in use, but they are set up and deployed. In fact, I'm monitoring the stream on one of my TVs right there. No, Yo-Yo. I bought a brand shiny new system for the most part. I'm reusing the same monitor. I'm reusing the same monitors, 4K monitors, because they were relatively new before. But I bought basically a prepackaged shiny new box keyboard mouse combination. And the other machine is being retired to a media box, which I basically always have as plugged into one of my TVs as my connection to Netflix and YouTube and all the other various streaming services, and my collection of TV and video on disc and all that stuff, right? DVDs, et cetera, et cetera. That all comes out of my media PC. So, and typically that's the way I work my new PC purchases. I'll purchase a new PC with the intention of migrating the existing one to the media PC, and whatever I've been using as the media PC will get basically recycled at that point, because it's probably 8 or 10 years old at that point. So, Ant-Man, how you doing, buddy? Good to see ya. Welcome aboard. Stratty shit going on. GLE. Still got time to get into the Stratosphere, Auntie. We are 14 minutes away from the end of late registration with 308.75 in prizes already. So we have cracked the €300 mark. Let's see if we can't hit 325. I used to assemble PCs from parts, Yo-Yo. It's actually been, it's probably been 10 years since I assembled my last PC from parts for personal use. Yeah, back in the day, it was almost always true that you could build a better system to suit your specs from scratch than you could get by buying a pre-made system. But the last couple times I've gone to buy a system, I've been looking at the pre-mades, and there's a lot more selection with a lot better variety to be able to match the needs of, more specialized needs. So yeah, the last two times, the PC that I just moved from and this current one that I bought were both pre-built pre-built machines from a particular Canadian retailer, and I've been thrilled with both of them. This one has served me very well for 5 years, and likely, I mean, I likely could have used it. Like if I was having money problems or whatever and couldn't have afforded to spring for a new system, I pretty sure I could have pretty easily refurbished this one and run it for another 2 or 3 years at least as a decent stream machine. So yeah, it'll be this will be an excellent machine going forwards for probably 5 to 6 years at least. When it becomes above average and it gets retired to a media box, and I'd probably buy something close to the top of the end at that point. But yeah, it was funny when Moofy was speccing out the new system for me. We started off building from scratch, right? We started off with components, and building by components and building exactly the system we wanted. And it was like we were like 3 or 4 hours into the build, and there were issues with whether we could get the graphics card that we were particularly looking for at the time that we were wanting it, and there was pricing issues with things, and it was coming in not at a horrible price, but at about like $2,200 for the base line that I wanted to get. And I was just like, well, just for kicks, why don't I run off and look at the pre-built systems that they've got out here. Actually, no, he did that, and he comes back and says, "What do you think of this one?" I looked at it and I said, "That looks fucking amazing, and it's $1,600. Like it's $500, $600 cheaper than we were specking out on our own, and it looks like it's pretty much exactly what we were specking out on our own." So yeah, it was kind of funny that way. But yeah, so I ended up I did end up getting one of their pre-builts. So it's a pretty snazzy looking little box at the end of the day. I mean, at the end of the day, I don't really care what my computer box looks like. I care a lot more about what it does, what the insides do, than what the outside looks like. But I have just had a qualifier to the to Supermoon tickets pop up here. So we'll throw that up on the screen as well. Yeah, Smoothie's still hanging out with family, so probably going to be somewhat absent, but he's probably playing from his phone, so it might be. The Bank 1212, welcome aboard. Thank you very much for the follow. I'm a little disappointed that we didn't get your sub greeting on stream today, Kat. I was able to hear it, but because of the fucking weird the weird way I had the sound set up to have Barry on stream. That it wasn't coming through. I should have actually changed that output to be output to the, but I didn't think about it. Yeah, I do some video work, obviously the streaming, and then I do some video editing. Not so much anymore. I used to do a lot, and I sort of plan to do in the future for my own stuff. I'm not a huge gamer. Like, I'm not going to be playing the newest first-person shooter game. I'm probably not going to be playing any first-person shooter games these days. I do play a few graphically intensive games like Elite Dangerous from time to time. But yeah, gaming's not really going to be my main power hog for graphics. That's mostly going to be my 3D modeling work, and video and streaming is where that's really going to come from. The amount of extra speed I get with the 3D modeling software that I use is phenomenal. It's absurd. Yes, graphics cards are very pricey these days. When we were specing out the systems by component, the graphics card was like more than half the cost of the system. Like, it was, you were getting CPU for pennies on the dollar compared to your graphics card. Yes, and the main reason my graphics cards are really expensive these days is actually has nothing to do with people using them for graphics. The GPUs are very efficient for crypto mining as well. So they've been used for crypto mining rather than graphics work. I didn't end up with the top of the line graphics card by any stretch of the imagination. I ended up with an NVIDIA 3060, which is a significant improvement over the 1060 in the other machine. But I think the bleeding edge NVIDIAs are 4000 series now. So and even in the 3000 series, there's obviously the 3070, 3080s. There's even a 3090, I think. Holy shit, 68. 68 players, everybody. 332.50 in prizes 69 entries, one rebuy for 70 total entries so far. 3 minutes to go, so it'll be pretty much closed when you hear me say these words. Thank you all for the big turnout today. We more than $50 over the guarantee. That's always nice to see. Probably not gonna hit 350, but 332 is very respectable. Very respectable prize pool for the Stratosphere. Thank you all for coming out for the support. Ah, yes, that too. That too. They're also in high demand for things other than graphics. $11 places getting paid in the Stratosphere now. Registration closed. Min cash of $8.29 for 11th and 10th. And $95 up top for the win. Wowee, that's a nice top prize we got today. So GL everybody today in the Stratosphere. Main event registration ends in 3 minutes now, and we ended up with 24 total entries today. So not too bad, halfway to the guarantee. Going to be 4 places paid out. 513 for the min cash at 4th. 2180 up top for Cat for the winner. Cat, of course, being the not just the defending champion, but the double defending champion of the main event. I'm YOLOing for a massive potential chip up here in the Battle Royale, everybody. Jack Nine's not a terrible hand. I've been just card dead for ages, so. No such luck, though. No such luck. We are busto in the Battle Royale. GGLE. G and G to the Ulster. Yo Broker, Mersey Mike showing up in the server today. And the cat back. Cat came back. Welcome back, Cat. Ken Slozer, welcome aboard. I think you just missed it. You may just be able to barely get in, but I think you might have just missed registration. Good luck, though. I raised pre. I think I see bet this. Check it back. No. Fuck. Fuck! Oh well. GG Ellie, good luck everybody else in the Stratosphere today. We are done like dinner. Still got our chances in the main event, though. Still got our chances in the main. Oh. Nice, nice, Seaweed. It's always fun when that happens. Well, she demands her ticket back then, Gia-san. So she demands her ticket back. She's been defrauded, and I don't blame her. She was promised a book, or a chance at a book. I don't know. Maybe when I run a Twitter giveaway, they won't even. You know, we'll see. I'm sure. I'm sure it was just a miscommunication. Me too. I just blew mine out shortly after the late reg period ended, though. Thank you, Kat. Yeah, it might have even been 50 cents in Launchpad costs, Kat. Shows how much of an active slob I typically am. I spend like a couple of days moving a few moderately heavy things around my house, and I've got fucking muscle aches in muscles I forgot I had. But I think for the time being, it's all, for the most part, that side of it's all done for the most part. I do have one piece of furniture that I think I want to move downstairs at some point, but for the time being, it's out of the way. Right. Well, we've got break time on the go, everybody. So I am going to get out of this hand in the main event and head off to the break. I'll see you guys back in just a few short minutes. We're back. As you can see, I have returned to an interesting spot in the MotherShip Main Event. And looks like we're going to get a chance to try to double with our aces here against Wax Off. So, gee, Ellie. Oh, looks like we're going to get a chance to triple here with our aces against Wax Off and Valhalla. I mean, we know we're getting it in with the best of it, right? We know we're getting it in with the best of it, at least. Gee, Ellie. Poker, y'all. Pokers, y'all. GG, Ellie. Famous last words in poker. At least I've gotten it in with the best of it, right? Fuck my life. Fuck me sideways. Why do we fucking play this game, everybody? Why do we fucking play this game? Yo-yo, that is not true. That is true if you're a Canadian that lives in Ontario, Quebec, any of the maritime provinces like Nova Scotia, PEI, Newfoundland. Well, maybe not Newfoundland. Nova Scotia, PEI, I think. as well. Manitoba, I believe it's mandatory in the education system there as well. But Saskatchewan, Alberta, and BC, it is not mandatory. It is optional. There are French option courses through, and well, okay. I guess it depends how you define has to learn French in school. Now that I'm saying that it was optional, I do remember at least a couple of years of mandatory French. My late elementary school years or early junior high. I think early junior high. And I think it was 1 year that we were required to take, which means I've basically learned how to count, say hello and goodbye, say thank you. That's basically the extent of my knowledge. Few scattered words here and there. So yeah, most people who go to school in Ontario are at least moderately bilingual in some form or another. I would hazard a guess that most of the people that go to school in Alberta are not bilingual in any functional sense. Yes, I was trying to very calmly not choke out on my fucking granola bar there when the aces got as I was in the middle of my victory pump, which I was obviously premature on. Yeah. So no, so like I know bonjour, au revoir, oui, non, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17. Those sorts of I can do counting up to a certain I mean if I really concentrate on it I can probably count pretty far. I remember I tried betting in French when I was in Montreal, Casino Montreal once. That lasted for one betting one betting action for me, and after that I went back to English again because I was like I want to make sure I'm doing this right. And the sad truth, however you want to put it, is that if I go to Quebec, I have a much higher percentage chance of the people I run into there speaking English at least moderately well than they would have coming to Alberta and on average finding somebody who speaks French moderately well. It is technically an official language here, but it is not official in the sense that it is universally spoken across the country. So yeah, been thinking about. I'm pretty sure grade 7 there's a mandatory French class. That was the only time that I had any mandatory French that I can recall. And the reason I'm saying grade 7 is I'm basing it on the picture of the classroom in my brain, which frankly may or may not be accurate. I think it's accurate. I've got there's the teacher at the front and yeah. So I'm pretty sure it's a class at Osborne, but But yeah, when I went to boarding school in Ontario, I arrived almost completely ignorant of French, and was immediately put into a French class in grade 9 with Ontario students who'd been taking mandatory French classes since they were in grade 1. And I was like, yeah, this is not gonna fucking work. It's not gonna fucking work at all. I was like, I should have been like in a grade 1 French course, not a fucking grade 9 French course. I actually ended up, and I sort of regret this because I probably should have just put in the fucking work and tried to catch up, but I actually got an exemption because I was so far behind everybody else. I actually got an exemption from the French class in Ontario. I am still live in the qualifier to the Supermoon at 10 by 10x tickets. 10 by 10x. 10x by 10 euro. 10x by 10 by 10 euro tickets. So we still got main event action going on as well. Main event is down to 14 players remaining. The Stratosphere is down to some number of players remaining as well. I'm guessing 26 at the moment. So Strati is playing down pretty. Oh, we did end up with a few more by the time Strati closed, Reg. 72 total entries for 342 in prizes today. So well done, everybody. Almost 75 bucks in extra prizes. 60 bucks in extra prizes, anyways. 65 bucks? 65 bucks in extra prizes. that's not the right screen. That's the right screen. So yeah, we are still alive here. We are probably going to need to find some chips, though, if we want to get to the money spots. I think registration's closed now, but well, that's a handy flop for me. Yeah, reg is closed. Oh, we have quads, everybody. Wonder if they'll bet enemy on the river. Let's see. Liberal province when it comes to online gambling, it's pretty liberal across the country. We have outside of Ontario, and Ontario was just regulated this last year. Like I can play on any of the global poker sites that I want to play on from where I live in Alberta, and it's pretty much the same everywhere else in Canada. And no, gambling winnings of any kind in Canada are considered windfall earnings, windfall profits, and it's not taxed. So you can win the lottery, you can win poker, you can win at the VLT slot machine, you can win a sports bet. All of that is non-taxed because it's gambling winnings, which is considered a windfall and non-taxable. There are certain cases where people are deemed to play. Yeah, it is possible to have your poker activities defined as a business, but not if all you do is play poker, if that makes sense. Like by me streaming, the the I'm still not paying tax on the poker earnings, but I will have to pay tax on earnings that I get through the Twitch stream and through affiliations and promotions and things like that, right? So. Yeah, just quads, no big deal. Quad fours, no less. Quad fours. I mean, quad fours are something special, right? Quad fours are something special. That's like 4 to the power of 4. That's like quads to the power of quads, right? Quad fours should actually beat quad aces, I think. Big confrontation there in the main. Yeah, Ontario's recently just sandboxed itself. The moment, it doesn't look like any of the other provinces are going to follow suit, but that may change in the future. I don't know. But at the moment, it doesn't look like anybody else is going to follow suit. To be fair, it'd be really hard to attract. If Alberta opened its market that way, it'd be really hard to attract operators here because it's a tiny population. It's like 3 million, well, maybe 5 million people now. So unless we were like Ontario's like 20, it's like 40% of our national population lives in Ontario. So it makes sense to, it's like 20 million. So it like makes sense to get into Ontario. But, or 15 million, sorry. But it makes a lot less sense for them to get into Alberta. So that makes it less likely for Alberta to actually try to do something like that. So unless it were to partner with Ontario or something, like join that player pool. At the moment, there's no indications in that direction. Yeah, not being able to drive would be a big issue. You could probably get by in Toronto or Vancouver without a car, and actually a lot of people do get by in those places without a car, and people get by here without cars. Like don't get me wrong, it's not impossible. I'm sure it's not nearly as convenient as it is in from what I've seen in the UK. So that'd be south. That'd be the southern, southwest portion of BC, British Columbia, on the west coast. So the Vancouver area, Lower West Mainland, it's called. Um, and there's certain sections in interior BC, the Okanagan, that's pretty mild as well. Although the winters in the Okanagan are worse than they will be in Vancouver. But yeah, that would be your best bet if you're looking for Vancouver. A lot of people describe Vancouver as very similar to the UK. Actually, rainy, a lot of rain, not very much snow. It doesn't get below zero that often. Cat's got it right. Yeah, I think that's probably Vancouver, Southwest BC area is probably the place you'd want to end up, Cat. Oh, I may have just done the wrong thing here in the satellite. I wasn't locked, but I had a stack that I could probably get through to. Run into queens. Oh, but we hit the ace. Oh man, get out of jail. Get out of jail free. Jesus, I like it. I like it a lot. I am a born and bred Alberta boy, although I've lived in a variety of places in southern Alberta. I'm pretty sure I have had an official address in southern Alberta my entire life. Even when I lived in Africa, I had a mailing address here in southern Alberta. Well, I'm probably cocklocked now, I would guess, here in the... Oh, gee, look at this. We've got aces again, everybody. Can you tell I'm thrilled about it? Can you tell I'm thrilled about it? I mean, let's just do this, right? It's the worst that's going to happen is we're going to lose 23 big blinds or 24 big blinds to Lamach. Maybe we pick up couple of dead big blinds. I'm like, I know this is not the best way to play this hand, but ha. Oh, that's a nice flop for us. That's a nice flop for us. A little king on the river just to give him a kick on the way out. That's a little painful. That's a little painful. Chaotic Chunk 85. Welcome. Thank you for the follow. The Bank 1212. Did I say thank you for the follow to the Bank 1212? I don't. I think I might have missed that one. Welcome aboard, though. Damn, Cat. Well, GG. Well done. I'd love to do Austria sometime. I've done. Germany and the Czech Republic. I'd like to do Vienna sometime, for sure. Like I did, I've done Frankfurt, Hamburg. Why am I drawing a blank on the Nuremberg? There's one other city in Germany that I'm drawing a blank on the name. I did a trip to Prague and Warsaw. Munich. That's the city I was trying to think of. I did a trip to Prague and Warsaw from Munich. Yeah, exactly. I should have actually done while I was in Munich or near Munich. I should have. I was in Munich for work. Well, I wasn't actually in Munich. I was at a military base near Munich for work back in the day. And then after that work trip, me and a work colleague went off to Prague for the week. Very easy to get around. Like, yeah, I remember we got on the train in Munich at like 9 o'clock at night, and we were getting off the train in Prague at like 6 a.m. And I think that was a slow trip. Like I think it was stopping a lot of places to pick people up along the way, and might have even stopped and sat somewhere for a while because I think it could have been a lot. We just chose an overnight trip because we thought it was a good idea to do like overnight. And actually, it's quite nice to get a semi-sleeper. I think we got like there wasn't like a full private sleeper, but there were still beds you could stretch out on, and like I think it was a compartment of 4, I think. I liked it. Then I did the same thing to Warsaw on my own. My colleague had to go back. They only had a week, whereas I had 2, so I went on to Warsaw and hung out in Warsaw for a week. It was quite a lot of fun. I have Polish roots, so I wanted to spend a little bit of time in Poland. I would like to do Krakow at some point. I did not manage to do Krakow when I was there last time. So, main event is final table now. Main event is final table. Stratosphere is down to final 2 tables, 18 remaining on that one. So they are now 7 away from the money. Yes, the Cinderella Castle. The storybook, fairybook castle. Down to 8 in the main event now, everybody. So I think that puts them 4 off the money. 3 off the money. My mistake. They're 5 are getting paid there. $3.80 for the men. Must have had some late regers. Oh yeah, ended up with 27 total entries. So yeah, a fifth gets 380, and the winner today getting 1835 in the main event. Meanwhile, I am 2 away from bagging another €10 ticket here in the Supermoon qualifier. Bit of a showdown here. Ace King wins the race against Queens. Classic race. The classicest of races. And yes, I know classicist is not a word. Yeah, I echo all of Kat's choices in destinations that would be lovely to see at some point. Oh, excuse me. Yeah, night trains I think are a great way to travel, frankly. You fall asleep leaving one city and wake up in another. It seems like an ideal way to get around, frankly. Though I suppose for somebody who enjoys the scenery from train windows, night trips are probably not the ideal for that. I also will admit I did not sleep particularly well on the train. We did, of course, get woken up at the border to show our passports. But that was a ridiculously painless affair. Like it took 2 seconds and we were through. So yeah, it was super efficient. But I didn't sleep particularly well. But considering we were on a train in a 4-person cabin, not so bad. It is a very nice way to travel, I will admit. I wish we could do more of it in Canada. I really wish we could do more of it in Canada. I kind of understand that the economics are not really the same here in Canada as they are in Europe and the UK. There is a beautiful passenger train that goes through the mountains to Vancouver here in Canada. It is quite expensive, so you will pay through the nose for it. But it goes through some pretty stunning terrain, frankly. There's a spiral tunnel that helps them gain altitude, basically drilled into into a mountain. Um, and it's pretty cool because there'll be spots along there where you come out on the edge of the mountain and you can look over. You can look over, and then you go back into another part of the tunnel. The spiral keeps spiraling up farther. Um, and yeah, it's a pretty cool experience going through the pass, from what I've heard. I've never actually done it, but from what I've heard from people who've done it. Although, if you're claustrophobic and long tunnels freak you out, or if you're scared of heights and being up high with large drops freaks you out, you might want to think twice about taking a trip through the Rocky Mountains by train. It's like I say, that's a spiral tunnel. You're going to spend quite a significant amount of time inside tunnels, and through the entire pass, you're going to spend significant amounts of time on fairly high rock edges where the track is just chiseled into the edge of the mountain. Right. Well, we picked up a Super ticket in the qualifier, so there you go, everybody. There you go. Got another €10 Super Moon ticket to play with. Not going to be able to play one, obviously, until until after I get back from Calgary. I might get one in tomorrow. I might get one of them in tomorrow, but I am leaving for Calgary on Tuesday, by the way. I look at the schedule, and so we're definitely not streaming on a Wednesday because the first events are on Wednesday, so I'm going to be starting work on Wednesday. So I drive out on Tuesday. Yeah, no, that makes sense. You're gonna spend a lot more to get private cabins for sure. I'm pretty sure you can get private cabins, but it's gonna cost you quite a bit more. Yeah, night trains are good for efficiency, but not really for the pleasure of train travel. They're down to 7 in the main event now, and 15 in the Stratosphere here. Yes, the cat is a she-cat. So Team Balney seems to have had a pretty shitty day on the tables. To be fair, they won a €10 Super Wing ticket, so it wasn't the worst. It wasn't the worst day on the tables, but I bubbled. I tried to satellite into the Battle Royale today with a 50-cent qualifier to €5 major tickets. Bubbled the fucking thing. That was annoying, and it was especially annoying because I shoved 8s with like 2 big blinds. Got called by the big stack with 5-4, and they spiked trip 4s on me. So it was fucking very annoying. On the bubble, of course, like the hard bubble. I wasn't bubbled the tickets. Was bubbled at €1, €1 consolation prize. I'm not sure a female-only cabin would satisfy the cat. I was gonna say, yeah, she doesn't want to share with a stranger. Period. I totally get that. I totally get that. It was weird for me sleeping in a cabin with, like, I had my friend there, so that wasn't that weird. We were gonna be sharing a hotel room anyways. But then there were 2 strangers that walked in and took the other bunks, and that was weird. I have to say, that was weird. I mean, I dealt with it, but that's one of the reasons why I didn't sleep particularly well. I mean, it turned out to be perfectly fine. There was, it wasn't like, but yeah, it was weird. Yeah, I'm still not sure I'm thrilled about doing big amounts of travel stuffed into small traveling compartments with a bunch of strangers at this point. One of the reasons why I'm cautious about accepting any business that requires me to get into an aircraft at this point still. $13 left in the Stratosphere now, so they are 2 away from the money. And there is a decision going on. Lochte faced with basically a decision for their stack. I mean, it's not all their stack, but it's going to be most of it. They decide discretion. Better choice this time around. GG, Seaweed. Right, so yeah, I won't be streaming for the next couple of weeks. Well, I'll be back on Monday, but then after Monday, I won't be streaming for the next couple of weeks. So next couple of Stratospheres, we'll just have to run without me. Good luck to everybody who gets in those. The 10s certainly, we're certainly sweating there after that flop, or the aces were certainly sweating after the flop, right? Shivsbanger, welcome aboard. Yes, and actually, you're correct about that. You are actually very correct about that. It is sadly a built-in bias that I think most humans have. But yeah, that's especially true in the cases of abuse. You're far more likely to be harmed by people you know. And yeah, I'm pretty much the same way with Cat. It's just weird to be. It's not that I'm scared of something happening. It's just weird to be in a room with strangers when I'm doing something that I consider to be intimate, like sleeping. Um, like that's the issue. I think in a nutshell for me, it's what I consider. It's the same thing as I actually find it weird to be in public washrooms, and especially with men's washrooms where I'm kind of expected to, be out in public at a urinal. And I'm like, that's no. I tend to use stalls all the time. So, because I just think that's not something that I need to share space with other people while I'm doing. It's a private, intimate thing that I, should be doing on my own. Um, Sleeping, there's occasionally somebody else that I'll share that with, but they're going to be pretty intimate. They're going to be somebody who's pretty intimate with me already. Yeah, it's more a case of doing something that feels intimate to me, and I shouldn't be doing that in the company of strangers. I should only be doing that in the company of people that are intimately acquainted, that I'm intimately acquainted with. Well, we are in the money here in the Stratosphere now. I just noticed. So everybody guaranteed 829. It is bubble time here on the main event, though. Yeah, and likewise for me. I did have a roommate for a while, but even then, I'm basically living on my own. I've been living on my own for 20 years now since my last divorce, so I'm perfectly happy to have my own space. Even when I was married, I used to joke that the ideal living arrangement would be to buy a duplex, drill a hole, put a door between the two duplexes at some point, and for the most part, each partner lives in their own house, and maybe we knock down the wall between the two, between the two master bedrooms and build one massive master bedroom or something. Um, but yeah, I like having my own space, especially with online communities and stuff too. It don't even get lonely. So right, I mean, I can spend my Saturdays chatting with you guys, get some great social interaction, and not actually have to interact with a human being in the real world. Right. Oh, we are on a break here, so let's finish this handout and head off to the break. Moofy, how you doing, buddy? Welcome aboard. Good to have you here. All right, it is break time. I will see you guys back in just a few minutes. We are back. 11 left in the money in the Stratosphere. 6 left on the bubble in the main event. Everybody. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I have slept on planes for sure, which is probably equally weird. But then the problem with sleeping on trains is that I wake up with my neck fucked over all the time, so that's never fun. We have got final table on Stratosphere now. It is here. GL, everybody, not the cat. Kahar, Jack Uzi, Soyface, Kissamiri 2, Evan 7, Zotique 30, Charisma, Leela Thrill, all on the final table. Guaranteed at least 898. 95.05 up top for the win here on the MotherShip, or on the MotherShip Stratosphere game. Stratosphere hosted by Elron66. That's me. And yes, GG, FT, final table of cat. Well done. Good game getting there. Good luck getting deeper. Nice to have Moofy on board once again, our chief engineer back in his duty position. I like that. It's nice to have. The new equipment is running fine. I was just mentioning a while back in chat, or here on the stream, that it turns out there's nothing wrong with the disc in the other machine, I'm pretty sure. Because when I unplugged it and turned the machine back on, it was still making the same god-awful noises. So I figure it's probably because it's dirty as fuck and the fans. It'll be a fan thing. And if I take it apart and clean it, it'll probably improve. But on the plus side, I at least don't have to worry about not having an internal disc in it. And they're not really pigs either. Yeah, 100% Gizon. I'm the same way. I'm the same way with sporting events and things and large crowds. I'm like, okay, when's the when I'm in a poker tournament? If I have to use the washroom really bad, I am not waiting to the break because I'm not going to be the first person that gets there, and there's going to be a lineup and it's going to be like super crowded, and I'm not interested in that. I will leave 5 minutes before the end of the level. When everybody else is still playing poker. And I'll just walk away from my stack for the last 5 minutes and take an early break so I can hit the bathroom before. Or if it's not a desperate emergency, I'll just go out on my break and let everybody do the rush to the bathroom thing. And then I'll end up coming back a couple of minutes late to the start of the next level because I've waited until everybody's got back into the tournament room and then gone and used the washroom. Yeah. 2 kilograms of weed per day. That does seem that does seem a little extravagant. It does seem like it might be a little bit more than I could make use of in a 24-hour period. MotherShip Main Still on the bubble. Yes, the vapes are much more efficient from my memories when I've used them. I would like to find. I need to find a good one. I need to find a good one. I guess I have to do that. I thought I still had one left over, but I guess I finished it. All right. I guess I have to put together a. Guess I have to put together a joint. Oh, I am going to jump into. I'm a little bit. God, I'm bad at this today. I'm late regging another bounty game. So I just jumped into the brawl. True enough, Cat. Yes. Yes, true enough. That's a good point. You're right. You're right. You're right. You're right. Right. All righty. Well, we got some action. We got some actually poker that I'm playing once again here on the stream. But we're going to keep our attention on the MotherShip games. Final table of the Stratosphere now. Everybody guaranteed 898 over there, and we're still bubbly. Bubble, toil, and trouble here on the MotherShip Poker Main Event. Right, the titles are now sorted out as well for accurate of what's on the screen. So I just lamped pre-flop. Bet third on the flop, and then I went check on the turn. But we're still bubbly here, so let's keep an eye on the bubble of the main event. If anything else appears interesting to happen on the other table, I will get down there, but oh, we're in the money in the main event now as well. Looks like. So GG to Seaweed on the bubble. Damn, GG, man. Everybody guaranteed 380 in that one now, though. Head over to the Stratosphere for a little bit. Still nine-handed here on the final table. I like playing a lot of strategy simulations, simulation games online. Like I'm a big fan of games like Civilization, the sort of SimCity mode type games, and so on, which I sort of see as a strategy game where you're strategizing out how the growth is going to happen, or in the case of Civilization, it's even a little bit closer to like a strategy board game type situation, war game type situation, right? So yeah, I quite enjoyed that sort of thing. But mostly it's poker, to be honest. That's mostly where I was never a very good chess player, or Go for that matter. That's probably the second part of that statement. It probably is a obvious follow on from the first. But most of the games that I enjoy on the computer are, to one extent or another, strategy simulations. Like I'm just sort of thinking Elite Dangerous, at least the way I play it, it's all about developing trade networks and exploration routes, things like that. So it's again very much a strategy planning type situation. Yeah, so I think that's what I love doing on the computer when I'm playing games. Down to 8 on the Stratosphere now. Kahar 898 for ninth place, and now guaranteed at 1086 at least. Meanwhile, it's down to 3 in the main event. GG to Ace Pilot, American Airlines pilot, 380 for 5th place, and Valhalla, 633 for fourth place. Oh, 7 left now. Soyface out in 8th place for 1086. 1421 is the guarantee now in the Stratosphere. Meanwhile, 3 remaining here. Well, maybe it wasn't your week to go a three-peat in the main event, Cat, because it was your week to upgrade to win in the Stratosphere. Maybe that's what's happened here. GL. Yeah, I played the first Elite as well, Shivs. I've played most of the versions of Elite. I think there's one version that I didn't play. I'm gonna say the weird one that was not. I can't remember the title of it now, but the one that was the one that was not the same as the other Galaxy sort of Galaxy Sim, Galaxy Trading Sim type things. Oh God, yeah, manually trying to dock on a fucking wireframe graphics image being generated on an 8086 machine in 1984 is yeah, that was quite the experience. That was quite the experience. But we were so fucking impressed by the graphics. That's the funny part, right? We were just fucking super impressed by the by the graphics. Yeah, because Elrond's about to talk about Elite Dangerous. That's why. Ace Queen holds. Yeah, that shit's that sucks, movie. That's the shits, man. Back when I was younger, I used to love Diplomacy, the board game Diplomacy. Played a buttload of that when I was in high school. Um, like a huge amount of that. Yeah, perfect cat, perfect. And it doesn't like uh, the bot round side movie in the enhanced mode. Yeah. So yeah, add bot run. I won't talk about it for half an hour, Cat. I do at some point need to get back to the game because I am sitting in the middle of nowhere in a completely unexplored part of the galaxy at the moment. Like 7,000 light years from home. And that's it. We're down to heads up. God mode versus Shui here on the MotherShip Main Event, everybody. GL to both players. 1266 and 1835 are the remaining prizes. We have got some action happening over on the Stratty, though, so I'm going to head over there for a few seconds because, yeah, the cat is decided to defend her big blind. I did a little bit of Wing Commander as well, although I played a ton of X-Wing, which would have been probably 8 years after the first Elite, I would guess, like early 90s for X-Wing. Very good space combat simulator game, Star Wars based, obviously, but all right. So something weird just happened with one of my TVs, but I guess I'll figure that out after the stream. It's not necessary for me during the stream. Huh. I don't know why it did that, but it just blanked out for some reason. Weird. I really enjoyed Diplomacy a lot when I was in high school. Well, I mean, it was like a group of us that would sit around and play for hours, and had a really good time with it. I played less Risk. My brother was a big Risk fan. I was more of the I was more into the diplomacy because there was less. Well, there's really no chance involved. It's all based on the strategies and the alliances and the way your pieces are laid out. So yeah, yeah, I can believe that movie. I was just watching a video on YouTube the other night about a game maker in the UK that was briefly using a security dongle um, that they had attached to their cassette uh, retail programs. Um, but rather than just using it as a security dongle, they'd actually inserted memory and processing capacity into the dongle. So it was actually doing more than anybody else could do on their computer, basically on the computers. I think it was in the ZX Spectrum era, um, and I'm the name of the Bandersnatch was the not the obviously not the Netflix fictionalization of Bandersnatch, but the Bandersnatch software title that was all the rage in the press back in the day was by this company, and that the name is escaping me now. But well, GG to the cat in sixth place for 1866, and Kizamuni 2, seventh place for 1421. We are now down to 5 remaining. Maybe down to 4 here. Yes, indeed. We are down to 4 now, and it is GG to Layla Thrill, 2487 for fourth place. Let's head back over to Heads Up for now. They are still battling. They are even stacked pretty much. I honestly think you're not getting away from jacks with 8 big blinds there, Cat. I mean, yeah, it's a final table. There's ICM considerations to get, but yeah, I think you've pretty much got to get it in there with jacks, even when you got the bad feeling. Yeah, you should like never plug any USB device that you don't know its pedigree into any system that you own. Like that's that's been true for a decade or two, and it's still as true today as it was before. Oh yeah, it's crazy now. Like the amount of like what you can do. Shui takes down the Mothership Main Event. Well done. 18 to 35 for the win. $12 for second. 1266 for God Mode. So well done to everybody who cashed in the main event. We still have 4 players remaining in this old Stratosphere, though. Yeah, I can believe that move. I can believe that. Yeah, it's pretty scary out there. I mean, it's the same thing with cameras, right? The cameras are so small now that there could basically be a camera anywhere, right? Like you almost have no idea when or where the surveillance is occurring. Um, I mean, 20 years ago, you couldn't really hide cameras. They were big and bulky enough that it was pretty obvious when there was surveillance on a particular location. Um, it's just not the case anymore, right? There's no way anybody will know where the cameras are if it's not if they're not being obviously pointed out. Nobody's gonna know. If you want to hide it, you can easily hide it. Yeah, exactly, Cat. I'm like, yeah, well, you know, what am I gonna do? Stop buying USB? It would be an well, that would be the thing. You would have to have sensible settings. Um, but it's like I'll bet there's a lot of people who are set to sync data, for example, when they plug in to their computer. And if you're plugging into a charging socket that has a chip that is going to read your request to sync data, right? I didn't? I thought I was showing it. I was sure I was showing it, Kat. I was sure it was on screen. I was sure it was on that table. Oh, GG Zotique, 35.53 for third. And GG EVM 7, 49.75 for third. Zotique was fourth. And we are down to heads up now. I thought it might be over there in just a couple of hands, but no, we got a double up there. I'm still alive and kicking down here in the brawl, although we're not particularly deep stacked at the moment. Uh, 5 minutes of late reg left, so lobby. You can see how the payouts have gone so far in the Strati. Go back there because. Yeah, she might have been. I think I did show it. I think it was. I think it was there. I can't go back and check. I don't have a way to rewind while I'm streaming, but I think I had it on the right. I think I had it on the right screen, and I think it was there. You might have been distracted by the USB conversation. I mean, it's possible I fucked up and was on the wrong screen. That's like that absolutely happens, right? Wow, that seems overly insecure, Murphy. Maybe I'm just an old fogey, but that seems really dangerous. Well, Jack gets jacks for another double up there. And it is even stacked here in Stratty. It is even stacked. Jack Uzi in the lead now. Charisma came into this with the big stack, but they've been getting into some trouble since then. So one thing I was curious about, maybe Moof or Ant-Man will have the answer, or Piano Cat even will have the answer to this, or anybody else in chat even. So if you have like a music or a video file, let's say an MP4 or an MP3 file, now obviously small stacks just double here. Back to even stacks again. So obviously it's going to depend on the way the player is designed to a certain degree. But in general, if I have an audio file or a video file, or an image file for that matter, like a JPEG or a GIF, and I'm loading that into a player or an editor, is there any way to insert malicious code into the video file or the audio file that then the player is going to execute? I wouldn't think so. Like I would imagine it's just reading data that it's only going to pump out through an audio channel or to a video screen. So the worst that would happen is you'd get just weird noises or weird video, right? But I'm not sure. Like if this is 20 years ago, I'd be sure, but I'm just not sure anymore. Big old race going down here. Yeah, bye Ellie in the brawl. So yeah, it's been a pretty brutal day for the Ulster on the tables today. We have cashed nothing except the €10 Stratosphere or Supermoon ticket. Not going to reg any more games because it is just not working out for me. we will bring the mothership in for a landing as soon as this Stratosphere game plays itself down, which could be right now, in fact. And there we go. Jack Uzi comes back from behind in the heads-up phase to take out Charisma. Charisma with 67.51 for second place. And Jack Uzi, congratulations. 95.05 for the win today in the MotherShip Main Event. Well, thank you all for coming and hanging out with me today on the MotherShip. Glad to have you here. It was fun to chat with Barry. I know it was not 100% technically or otherwise perfect, but we will improve as we get more guests on and do this once again. I very much appreciate everybody coming out and joining me. I'll be back on Monday to run another stream. But then after that, I am gone for a couple of weeks in Calgary, reporting on a WSOP circuit circuit series. So it'll be a pretty busy time for me. So I don't know how much I will be around. I will put the passwords in chat. They will not change through the time I'm gone, and so you guys will be able to do all that, and all the games will still run and everything. And I should be back in a couple of weeks time anyways. So thank you once again for hanging out with me today. We are going to bring this in for a landing. I will see you again on Monday. Until then, this is your Captain Elron. Out. Ooh, carrot and parsnip stir fry. For more vintage poker content from MotherShip Poker, click the subscribe button and check out the playlists for all of our old archived content, as well as the ads only cut from some of the early streams.